Magic Treehouse, Book Number 33, Narwhal on a Sunny Night, by Mary Pope Osborne. Chapter 1, Greenland. Jack and Annie sat on their porch in the warm summer twilight. Jack was reading a library book called Amazing Facts. "Get this," he said. "A beehive can have as many as 60 million bees in it." "Is that all?" Annie said. "Ha," said Jack. "Okay, then get this." He read, "Some experts say there might be 10 billion trillion stars in the universe." "Wrong," said Annie. "In fact, there are 10 billion trillion and 73. Jack laughed. They both looked up at the dark blue sky. The first stars were coming out. "Seriously, 10 billion trillion?" said Annie. "I can't even imagine it." She stood up. "Hey, do you see that?" "What?" said Jack. "That little cloud," Annie said. "Where?" said Jack, standing. "Over the treetops," said Annie. "Oh, man," whispered Jack. He saw it too, a small, brightly glowing cloud over the Frog Creek woods. "We'd better check it out," said Annie. Jack put his book on a porch chair. "Mom, Dad," he called through the screen door. "We'll be back soon." 15 minutes, their dad called. "We'll watch a movie together." "Great," called Jack. He grabbed his backpack and then turned to Annie. "Let's go, hurry." Jack and Annie dashed down the porch steps. They tore across their yard and headed up the sidewalk. When they came to the Frog Creek woods, they crossed the street and hurried between the trees. The darkening woods were filled with the sounds of crickets and frogs. The air smelled of warm green leaves and wood and earth. Soon, Jack and Annie came to the tallest oak. "Hooray!" said Annie. The magic treehouse was back. It was shimmering against the evening sky. "Yes," said Jack. He grabbed the rope ladder and started up. Annie followed. They climbed into the treehouse. "Look," said Jack. In the last light of day, he saw a book on the floor. He grabbed the book. He read the title on the plain green cover. "Greenland, the world's largest island." "Greenland," said Annie. "That sounds nice." "Yeah, our teacher told us about Greenland," said Jack. "But I don't remember what he said." "Open the book," said Annie. Jack opened the book. He found a map in a pocket on the inside cover. He took it out and unfolded it. Everything was black and white, except for Greenland. The huge island was colored green. "Greenland sounds so beautiful," said Annie, "like it's filled with green grass and green trees." "Don't be fooled. It can't be very green," said Jack. "Why not?" said Annie. "Because, look." With his finger, Jack traced a circle on the map. "This is the Arctic Circle. Inside the circle is most of Greenland, Norway, Iceland, and parts of Canada and Russia. It's one of the coldest regions in the world." "Oh, then why is the island called Greenland?" asked Annie. Jack shrugged. "And why are we going there?" he said. "Do you see anything from Morgan?" They looked around the treehouse again. "Here," said Annie. She picked up a small piece of yellow paper. She read aloud, "On your next journey, you will land on the shore of an island with icebergs, reindeer, and more. On a day that seems endless with no dark of night, travel through fog, travel through light. Explore different worlds, show friends where to go. Unite all these worlds with a word that will glow." "No dark of night?" said Jack. "What does that mean?" I don't know, said Annie. And what about unite all these worlds with a word that will glow? Yeah, what word? Said Jack. It sounds really cold, too, with icebergs, reindeer, and more. But that could be fun, said Annie. We can handle cold. Remember our great trip to the Arctic a while ago? Oh, right, said Jack. We wore those polar bear masks and saved the baby bears, said Annie. That was fun, right? Yeah, it was, said Jack. Okay, back to the cold. Annie pointed at the green island on their map. I wish we could go there, she said. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 2. Ice Everywhere. Sunlight shone through the treehouse window. The sound of splashing water came from outside. Hey, it doesn't feel that cold, said Annie. Maybe because we're wearing these heavy woolen clothes, said Jack. Their summer clothes had changed into wool outfits. Now they had on thick wool coats, wool shirts, wool caps, wool mittens, and wool pants. Even Jack's backpack had changed into a wool bag. His notebook and pencil were inside. You were right, said Annie, looking out the window. I don't see much green here. Jack looked out with her. The treehouse had landed on the rocky shore of an ocean bay. Across the water were brown mountains with snow-white peaks. The air felt crisp and clean. Seagulls swooped low over sparkling blue seawater. The sun shined on sheets of ice. Ready to explore? Said Annie. Yep, said Jack. Jack slipped their map back inside the Greenland book. He put the book and Morgan's rhyme in the wool bag. Then he and Annie climbed out the window. They stepped onto a pebbly shore. Oh man, ice everywhere, said Jack. The ocean bay was filled with ice. Small, flat icebergs were floating in the middle of the bay. Others were close to shore. The water must be freezing, said Annie. Jack took off a glove and dipped his hand into the seawater. Ow, he yelped. It's so cold it hurts. Jack dried his hand and put his glove back on. Then he took out the Greenland book. He read aloud from the first page. For millions of years, Greenland has been mostly covered with ice. In the 21st century, experts worry that the world's climate is warming and the ice is melting. Scientists from different countries live at research stations in Greenland to study the effects of climate change. Now I remember what my teacher told us, said Jack. Melting ice in the Arctic can cause sea levels to rise and lead to disaster. That's serious, said Annie. I hope we meet some scientists. Me too, said Jack. I wonder who else lives here. He found a section in the book called The People of Greenland. He read, Experts believe that people first occupied Greenland about 4,500 years ago. Today, 56,000 people live on the island. Most of them are known as the Inuit. Inuit, said Annie, like the Inuit seal hunter we met on our other Arctic trip. He was great. Yeah, but I don't see any signs of Inuit people in this area, said Jack. He looked around at the cold, barren landscape. It feels pretty lonely. Wait, look at that, said Annie. She pointed to a group of small silver-gray creatures resting on an iceberg. I think those are seals, said Jack. They're so little and cute, said Annie. Jack found a chapter on seals in the book. He read, Greenland has 3 kinds of ice seals. Ringed seals are the smallest. Okay, they must be ringed seals, said Jack. So Suddenly, the seals let out high-pitched barks. They spun their heads from side to side. Then they slipped off the ice and disappeared into the water. "I think we scared them," said Jack. A swishing sound came from across the bay. "Not us," cried Annie. "A whale!" A huge gray whale was skimming across the water. A sharp burst of air spurted out the blowhole on top of its head. "Whoa," said Jack. The whale leapt into the air. Then it crashed down with a giant splash. It dove under the sea. "A humpback! That was a humpback," said Annie. "I saw the bump on its back. Humpback whales sing. They sing a different song every year." "How do you know that?" said Jack. "I love whales. I wrote a report on them," said Annie. "Great," said Jack. He looked up whales in the index of their book. He found the right page and read aloud. "Greenland's waters are filled with whales. 15 different kinds can be seen along its coasts and in ocean inlets. They include humpback whales, orcas, narwhals, beluga whales." "Wait, more whales!" cried Annie. "A bunch more." "I know," said Jack, not looking up from the book. "There are 15 kinds." He kept reading. "Fin whales, blue whales." "Stop! I mean more in real life," shouted Annie. "Look up, Jack." Jack looked up. He couldn't believe his eyes. About a dozen whales were swimming in the bay now. They had sleek gray backs. Each had a long tusk jutting from its rounded head. "Narwhals!" shouted Annie. "Real narwhals!"